What's good, everybody? So today we're doing something a little bit different. We are going to be reacting to some Wuthering Waves, lore, theory crafting, some of that good stuff. We all know that 2.0 brought us a lot to actually discuss about Rinascita. First time, I'm actually excited about lore in this game and hearing everybody's feelings. Who is Cartethia? What is the Order up to? What is this Threnodian? What is this Sentinel doing? There's a lot of things. We've got the Phassalias and the Montellis. There's a lot of things going on in 2.0 and there's a lot to discuss. So we're going to take this video by life lessons today. The hidden deception that fooled an entire kingdom. Let's give it a little listen. Let's give it a little listen. All right, here we go.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. That iconic line from The Unusual Suspects perfectly encapsulates what I've uncovered. We were sold a picturesque image of Rinascita. No Threnodian threat, revelry to the high heavens, and aid for our buddy Abby. But beneath the surface, things are not as they seem. There's trouble lurking in the depths of Rinascita. A sinister force that has operated unnoticed for centuries. After extensive investigation, I am 98% certain of what went wrong in Rinascita. And it all started
when the Fire Nation attacked.
Oh shit.
Oh wait. Wrong story.
When the waves are weathering.
The origins of the Order. It began with Napoleon II, the first Primus who stopped the Dark Tide and his legendary deeds. He founded the Order and, as the records claim, went on to be with the divinity. What if I told you that his departure wasn't as simple as the history books suggest? Unfortunately, Napoleon's efforts only provided a temporary...
Do you know what I loved when we were going through the story? The way that they actually like presented these little bits of information, like these were different points in time with the stained glass like window look. I thought was actually so good. Like it felt, the setting was so right. The way that they told it was so cool. To have it done in this like stained glass sort of aesthetic, I was a big fan. I was a really big fan. Like it was actually cinema and it was very poetic. And if you think about a lot of like churches that you go to with all the stained glass windows, like they've really kind of nailed this like European kind of like aesthetic that they have going on. It's very cool.
Fix. The Dark Tide was not fully dispersed. That's where the Blessed Maiden Fleur-de-Lis entered the picture. According to historical
Fleur-de-Lis! I cannot wait for you to become a playable character. I need her to be playable. I need her to have like two different states. I needed to have two different states for two different personalities, bro. She looks so cool. She's like I have a feeling I'm gonna love her. I really do.
She was trapped in a relentless nightmare for 3 days and 3 nights. There, the Sentinel revealed to her that the Dark Tide was not a mere enemy. It was the result of a wound they had sustained. And that wound could only be healed through a shared bond of strength. She was called to the high heavens to end the curse of the Dark Tide. And for a while, peace endured. After some time, a new Primus took leadership of the Order. This brings us to the Old Pilgrim Sale. A book written by a former Privy Councillor describes the earliest Pilgrim Sales, and they are nothing like the ones we see today. These were no rickety ships sent out on blind faith.
Oh,
no,
shoot.
These were well-kept vessels, manned by the best of the best, the finest sailors, captains, and first mates, all ensuring safe passage. It was considered the highest honor, but also a journey so expensive that people questioned if it was even worth the cost.
So it was something of considered to be like of prestige and value. It was actually something people revered and not something kind of people fear at this point. Going on the pilgrimage is kind of synonymous with kind of losing your way, I guess. In how it is now in amongst Rinascita, but back then it's something that's kind of like, you know, it's an honor. It's an honor to do that. It's kind of crazy how it changed.
And yet, despite the steep price, few returned. Then something changed. A newly appointed Primus, formerly known as Priest Fenrico, was noted by the Councillor to have his face shrouded in a strange shadow. And shortly after his rise to power, the Pilgrim Sale took a dark turn. The immense cost and the low survival rates forced the Order to put it on a hiatus for a time. But when it returned, it was no longer a holy journey of devotion. It had become something else entirely. Here's a quote from the former Privy Councillor. But everything changed after the bloody carnival. No, in truth, the shift began even earlier than that. I still remember when the Primus delivered the order for correction, and I dutifully transcribed it. The Order would send violators of doctrine aboard the Pilgrim Sale, stripping them of all official identities and setting them back on
Yeah, wait, fuck the Order. All my homies hate the Order.
to the path of pilgrimage. Who could have foreseen that an act once meant to embody faith would come to serve as a form of punishment?
Yep, it's straight up just a punishment. It's straight
First,
up like they just became. How could they not see? That's what I want to know. Like, how could they not see themselves doing these things and kind of like self-checking? That's what I don't understand. Like, their faith to whatever they're leaning towards must be so strong that they can't even like check themselves, and what they're doing is just like so morally like corrupt. That's why I really like the Order, because how can you not see what you're doing and be like, nah, this isn't actually okay?
Seems like a necessary
Then why is Peeb with them? Maybe she knows something that we don't.
correction. But over time, the definition of heresy became looser. The crimes less severe. The punishments more frequent. This was no
Control. It's
longer
all about
faith.
control.
It was a witch hunt. Take Brant, for example. He was sent on the pilgrim's tale as a literal child for asking one simple question. If no one has ever seen the Sentinel, why do we have statues as if we know what it looks like? A child's innocent curiosity was enough to be exiled. Even the counselor who documented these changes, he too was eventually sent on the pilgrim's tale. Why? Why did the punishment become so widespread? Why did the crimes grow less severe while the sentences became more frequent? It's almost like the Order was desperate for criminals, like they had to fill a quota. What if I...
Oh, interesting. They have to satisfy the thirst of something. They have to satisfy, because that's what I'm saying. Like, how could they not recognize that what they're doing is so morally corrupt? Damn, interesting. Peeb, what are you doing? What are you making people do? Peeb caught.
I told you, the Order hasn't been led by the Sentinel for a very long time. The Transgressor's transcript.
I'm under the belief that the Order is more led by the Threnodian like side of things, right? I take, because for me, what really kind of like, that's kind of the vibe I get, right? The Order doesn't really lean toward Imperator, doesn't really lean towards the Sentinel. It leans way more to the Threnodian. And you know what really tipped me over the edge is like on Peeb's hat, she has like the thorned like laureate thing that's like on her like hat, which is also seen on like, I believe, the Threnodian too. It's kind of like there's a lot of like crossover and imagery between them both, and I'm like, yeah, you definitely represent the Sentinel. Absolutely, okay. Yeah, the crown. Yeah, exactly.
Found in Thessalo Fells, where the Phasalia family resides, contains a crucial revelation. It reads, the Phasalia family was the original ruler of Raguna, and we also laid the faith foundation of the Order. This suggests that Napoleon II, the first Primus, may have been a Phasalia himself. This is important because the transcript reveals that after Napoleon's death, everything related to, and this part is redacted, but I believe it means the Sentinel, everything related to blank began to twist. Its statues, its anecdotes, even its proverbs. The Phasalia family knew the true form of the Sentinel, but there was something else. The transcript speaks of another.
The Sentinel and Threnodian, one of the same. Oh yeah, they're the same being. They're the same, like they're all the same thing. It's the same reason why Cortethia has like this whole like split personality thing that we keep seeing, right? Like she has like two forms, two states. They are the same thing. They are the same thing, which is why it gets confusing when people are like, well, you know, the Sentinel. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Other entity. Now, the transcript never actually says Sentinel, not even when the Phasalias are mentioning it. Instead, it refers to a great underwater being, the Giant One. At first, the Phasalias thought they alone were connected to this divine being, but then others began claiming to see it too. More and more people reported witnessing miracles, guiding fishermen, saving fleets from storms, blessing harvests. And before long, the common folk believed that it was indeed the same entity the Phasalia spoke of. But it wasn't. The Phasalias realized too late that something else had taken root. A different fish-like entity that had begun to reshape faith in its own image. And those who refused to accept its influence, they suffered horrifying nightmares, hallucinations, a loss of control over their own minds. Now, fast forward to the present. When the rover arrives at Rinascita, the white cat from the Savoir warns that something is lurking beneath the surface. a force influencing Raguna's subconscious through their dreams.
Sounds
Rover then
fishy.
replies, are do you see monster stories popular lately? And let's not forget the nectar wine. Brant told us that the wine from Eglatown is a shortcut to seeing the Sentinel in your dreams. Zani confirms the barrel comes from the Vagacia Peninsula, which is heavily controlled by the Order. You might remember when we drank the wine, we got a vision from what we think is the Sentinel.
What are they, bro? Are they putting DMT in the bloody wine? What are the Order doing? What are they trying to make us see? How are they controlling that? Bro, what are the Joe Rogan is going on? What are the Joe Rogan is happening?
The description on the fruit called the viscumberry that makes nectar wine tells you that drinking it grants visions. But what if those visions
Spiritual
aren't coming from the
enlightenment.
Sentinel? What if they're coming from the fish-like entity lurking beneath the surface? If you
Interesting.
haven't realized it yet, the Order borrows heavily from Christianity and Catholicism. And just like its lore, its corruption is rooted in something ancient. Consider this verse from 2 Corinthians 11:14-5. Satan disguises himself as an angel of light, so it is no great surprise if his servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
They're tricky ones, aren't they, the Order? They're disguising themselves as the good guys. But we all fucking know. We all fucking know that these people are evil. They're the devil. We hate them. I feel like this is pretty, like, not obvious, but I think it's pretty clear at this point about their deception. Their deception is pretty clear, cut, and dry. It's pretty, yeah. All my homies hate the Order.
I believe there is a Threnodian threat, and it has persisted for centuries without anyone noticing. I'm about to tell you exactly what they've been doing behind the scenes,
Okay.
and what they really are. We've been told many times now that the Order has changed the doctrine. From the Transgressor's Transcript, an acolyte named Lenore in the Hymn of the Sea of Clouds World Quest, and the fact that the Codex of the Deep is on its 137th edition. As the note said,
That's a
everything
lot of
related
changes.
to blank began to twist. Its statues, its anecdotes, and even its proverbs. Later in the notes, when the writer is seemingly possessed by what they refer to as a blasphemous entity, it reads, "No one has ever suspected this mass hallucination. No one has ever resisted the dissipation of the form."
Is everyone drugged? Is everyone drugged? The fuck?
The entity has intentionally been causing a mass hallucination through dreams, as well as changing the statues over time to look different from what they used to look like. I believe the entity is the Threnodian, and it has scammed the people of Raguna into believing that it is the Sentinel. There's an NPC in Rinascita in front of the Montelli Quarter in Raguna named Ariosto. He reveals that he works for the Black Shores and is undercover. He also informs you that the statues of the Sentinel in Raguna don't match the information in the Tethys system. Have you noticed that there seems to
Interesting.
have been different accepted forms of the Sentinel? In the past, it was viewed as a primarily fish-like creature, but
Yep.
now it looks more like a fish-horse hybrid. This is known as a hippocampus in Greek mythology, a mythological creature with the upper body of a horse and the lower body of a fish. The name comes from ancient Greek words hippos, meaning horse, and campos, meaning monster. This seems to match the statues we see everywhere, but there's one thing I've noticed. There seems to be a similar but different looking creature throughout Raguna, and it's very much hiding in plain sight. They say every good lie has some truth in it. Well, have you noticed that the hippocampus on all the statues has horse hooves in the front? Makes sense, right? Considering the horse half is on the top. However, if you look around, you might see a slightly different creature lurking amongst the top brass of the Order. If you look at the pendant they carry, at first glance, it looks like a hippocampus, but upon further inspection, the feet appear a bit flatter than the hooves from the statues. In fact, the face even looks a bit less like a horse on the statues as well. After thinking about it, it hit me. I have seen this face before. In fact, I've seen the front half of this entire creature before, and it's not at all like what the statues look like. Let's take a trip to the Fagad.
Oh, we're being edged. Oh, we're being edged. Oh, I'm being edged. I must know. I must know. What creature is this? What could it possibly be? Have they got fins for feet? God damn.
Peninsula. There's a banner hanging there that can be found in the Oak Heart High Court, as well as the shores of Last Breath. It depicts an image that, once understood, unlocks an entirely new perspective on what's happening. The banner depicts a creature with fins instead of hooves, with a peculiar...
Wait, does it? Wait. I can't make out the creature. Am I dumb? Am I dumb? I actually can't make out what that's supposed to be. I don't even see an animal or a creature. I think I am just dumb. Oh no! Wait. Okay. I see. Oh, I see the black. The black is the face. Oh, I see. Okay. Interesting. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I see now. I see now. It's here. That's the face. I was looking at like the lines. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? No. Okay. I see. Interesting.
Symbol on it. I've seen this symbol before too. It appears throughout Ragusa and is also found in many European nations. It became at once religious, political, dynastic, artistic, emblematic, and symbolic. It is depicted on the traditional coat of arms of France, and the Virgin Mary is among the saints often associated with the symbol. The symbol is called a fleur-de-lis. Perhaps you're starting to put the pieces together, but just to help you along, the symbol is used to depict the Blessed Maiden fleur-de-lis, as well as the Blessed Virgin Mary. She's essentially the female Christ-like figure who sacrificed herself to stop the dark tide. Back to the banner. Do you notice anything different about the fleur-de-lis? You guessed it, it's upside down, which is an upside down cross is the sign of the Antichrist. It's the devil! It's the devil! Goddamn. Upside down. Does that look familiar? Without going too deep, upside down crosses have many meanings, but most notably, they're used as demonic or antichrist symbolism. The Antichrist is said to come claiming to be Christ and even performs miracles deceiving many into worshiping it. Sound familiar? Remember the blasphemous entity from the Notes of the Visalia member? When seemingly being possessed, they said, "No one has ever suspected this mass hallucination. No one has ever resisted the dissipation of the form."
Again, the devil hides in plain sight amongst the people. It's right in front of us.
All right. Time to tie a bow on this. As I explain what the creature is and the scariest part of this theory, I believe this blasphemous entity that the transgressor transcript noted and what people have been worshiping as the Sentinel is the Scottish mythological being called the Kelpie. A Kelpie, or water Kelpie, is a
Kelpie. Okay, interesting.
mythological shape-shifting spirit inhabiting lochs. Think the Loch Ness monster in Scottish and Yorkshire folklore. It is
I've never
usually
heard of a
described
Kelpie
as a
before.
gray or white horse-like creature, able to adopt human form. Some accounts state that the Kelpie retains its hooves when appearing as a human, leading to its association with the Christian idea of Satan. They are known to lure humans in and drag them to their death. They may have glowing red eyes and fangs.
Oh, shit.
They may smell like seaweed and blood. One curious detail about them is that they are known to hunt in groups. At the shores of Last Breath, there are 3 circles enclosed.
I've never heard of a Kelpie before. I feel like I'm pretty clued in to a lot of like mythological creatures and stuff like that. I've never heard of a Kelpie before. Yeah, it does sound Scottish. Yeah, the fucking Kelpie. It also sounds like a slur. Am I crazy? It kind of sounds like a slur. A little bit.
Within one giant circle. Within those circles, we see 3 things happening. Me and Miss Life, along with the help of the lore community, have deciphered almost all of the Rinascita script. The words on the inner circle read, Insepe, Innis, Pescare, Cavallo. Beginning, island, fish,
horse.
There's even a typo within the stone circles. So, Kuro typo is canon in Wuthering Waves. Moving on, the other circle depicts what looks like 3 Kelpies converging. Lock in for this one. If you remember the end of 2.0, Prolova gave us 3 prophecies.
Honeyed wine has clouded their senses and quenched their flames of avarice. Yet it has stoked your bravery and kindled the fire within your heart. I shall unveil the first prophecy and shatter these burdensome stones. Abandon the trifles of sentiment, and you shall ascend the throne. To achieve this, a sacrifice of fresh blood is demanded. A purge of the holy maiden and all heretics.
I wish I paid more attention to the actual prophecies, but I was too busy trying to fight Hecate. Bro, this bitch is so annoying to fight. Even during this part, it was like, God damn, she got me a few times.
I don't know about you, but last I checked, all means all. Now you might start to see why I said that the Threnodian has been active for a very long time. If you recall, Kelpies eat humans. Yep, you got it.
So that's what's happening. The Order are shipping off everybody to the Threnodian for the Kelpie to eat. It all makes sense. Holy base theory. Holy base theory, bro.
Been sent on a New Age pilgrim sale. Do you remember how we discussed the pilgrim sale seeming like it's meeting a quota with all the bogus reasons people are being sent? How the Order started changing right after the first Primus passed, and all writings, statues, and books were changed? The nightmares given to the Hierarch Facilium members who knew the true form of the Giant One and potential Sentinel? I think it was the narwhal portion of the Sentinel personally, but yeah. The collective subconscious dreams of recent we heard from the Somnoir Cat. The fish horse, or rather water kelpie, has been deceiving people by likely shape-shifting to look similar to the water half of the Sentinel. More on this in another video. And over time, it changed into something else entirely, to dissipate the form, as it said. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. And the Threnodian...
why over time then? Are we assuming that the statues would have resembled like a kelpie at the beginning, and then they changed them more to look more like the hippocampus? Is that what we're saying? And if so, why would they have had statues of the kelpie to begin with, knowing what it is and people might have been fearful of it? That's the question that I have. Like, why would they have had that to begin with and then change it over time? That's what I want to know. What would be the reason for that?
Has been busy, and no one has been the wiser. This has been Life Lessons. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please like the video, share it, all those fun things. If you find it in your heart to do so, feel free to subscribe. We do lore, story, and community discussions on this channel.
Very holy based.
So thank you all so much.
Very holy based. This was I think the best lore video I have ever watched for Wuthering Waves. This was so well done. This was so well thought out. Very well executed. Great script. Great everything. This is how a lore video should be. This was engaging. This was entertaining. This had good theory. It was very well produced. This is probably the best Wuwa lore video that I have seen so far. This was the best lore video that I've seen so far. So make sure you go subscribe to Life Lessons. Give this video a like. Go comment on his video. This was very, very well done. This was extremely, extremely well done, and I would love to see more of this. I would love to see more of this. I would love people to have more conversation about the lore, about the story. I'm so glad Wuwa now has made a story and world building where we are now able to have like these more in-depth discussions to theory craft. I think it's what people have been begging for. It was basically fuck all in 1.0. 2.0 has made so many people excited to actually theorycraft about this stuff. It's so cool. It's very, very awesome. So go subscribe. Also make sure to like, comment, subscribe what you think down below. I appreciate all of you. Do go check out Life Lessons. I stream every single day on Twitch. Cabinetz. Link is in the pinned comment, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.